What's up, good people? We are live on the air, and damn, she just showed up down there. So we didn't even get to do a pre-discussion to make sure everything sound good. So hopefully it'll sound good. We about to get things going. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. Make sure you hit the like button as you come in, as you're catching this on the upload or as you're catching it live right here in direct. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get this thing going. Let's get it started.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right, what's up, good people? What's up, good people? We are back in the building. One more quick sound check for me. Got a potentially good one for you today. I don't know. We're gonna see how this plays out. But shout out to the early bird squads, those that make it in bright and early. Drop a comment, hopefully a like before we even get things started. Michael Smith in the buildings. He says that is why everyone hates black women with a passion for begging, sleeping with their men. All right. Already going there. He's a good man in the building since we're the swirlers at. Shout out to Creation Muse, JD Rich, Huncho Black says, I wish black men would stop focusing on these swirlers. I don't know who. Okay. I definitely don't focus on them. I don't think black men focus on them. This is definitely my first show talking to somebody who at least has the similar talking points. I don't even know specifically. Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. JD Rich in the building says, I'm excited as French toast. He says, excited as French toast, shaking my head. Shout out to everybody who's making it on in. I see a few people already contributed on the super chat. And Sir Randolph says, can't miss this show. Absolutely appreciate you. Shout out to you for coming on through with the $5. Demetrius. Okay, here you go with this name. Demetrius Higashikata. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for coming on through to $2.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
And E Capone with the final one for now. All right, all right. News says some lies going to be told at 6 o'clock in the morning. Shout out to Jonathan Barronville in the building. He says, whoever already disliked the live, run me a fade. All right, so without further ado, we about to bring up the guest of honor, so to speak. Welcome to the show. Let me fix that like that. Welcome to the show, Chanel. Hey, how you doing?
Hello, hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Your audio sounds good. I didn't get to do a sound
Okay.
didn't get to do a sound test, sound check before we started, but your audio does actually sound good. So thank you for coming on to the show. This kind of been in the making for a while. You emailed me a while back, a little while back, about the show. I don't even remember what the topic was then. What I guess I was trying to I guess what sparked it? What made you interested over here? Wanting to come on.
Um, I guess the manosphere, y'all just have interest in talking points, and I just wanted to guess kind of invite myself to your show, just to get a little feedback of how other people,
What do you
I
mean by
guess see my
other?
talking,
Oh, okay. Never mind.
yeah,
What do you
see
mean
my
by
talking points. Mhm.
okay? Okay, I want to see how other people see your talking points. The when I looked at some of the content, some of the things you had out there, I mean, it was a few things I saw. The more interesting thing or controversial conversation is the video you did. It was titled something along the lines of the real reason why black women are more feminine with
Mhm.
white men than black men. That's something that we've talked about. Yeah, Goshen, I was about to go in on the other people, but she cleared it up. Yeah, I thought you were saying something else. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that is one topic that touched on. We've touched on this show, but I never did an actual full blown show on it. So we could definitely get into that. I just recently listened to the video and wrote a few things down. I will give you a fair warning. I disagree with pretty much everything you said in that video. So just giving you fair warning on that one. But let's go ahead and start right from the top in that video where you basically said that it was power. But when you talk about black women being more feminine to white men, I mean, most of the video sound like you were talking about interpersonal relationships, correct?
Well, I'm just talking about like all together. And see, here's the thing. This video, the video that I made, most people think that I'm like, I guess like that I'm a coon or that I'm like trying to put white men on a pedestal, but that's not what I'm saying. I know it comes off that way, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm actually very pro black and I prefer black men. The point I was just trying to make, I think like as black people, we're kind of like in denial, to a certain extent. I think we have been programmed to, I guess, I want to say look up to white people, look up to white men, but we in some way we have to follow their structure. So when I was saying
Well,
like
okay.
white
Oh, wait, go ahead and finish. No, go
oh
ahead.
so when I oh yeah, so like when I was saying like when white men have power, I was just saying like I think that they're able to do more than any other than a black man. And I don't think that's a black man's fault because of history. I wasn't like trying to put down black men. I'm just saying that's just the
Okay,
obvious.
all right. Let's back up some because you said you think that we're conditioned to look
Yes,
up
program.
to them. Okay, program. That's the word you use. Program to look up to them. But when I listened to the things that you were saying in the video, it didn't sound like you were talking about conditioning. It sounded like you were justifying it, giving actual practical reasons as to why. So that's different from conditioning. If it's programming, then there are no practical reasons. You just program to do it. You're a robot, basically. if you're programmed to do it, but you are trying to give practical reasons and benefits as if there's some come up because of this global power that that white men have. So what I'm trying to figure out, and what I always try to figure out whenever I have these discussions, if a black man gets, a black woman gets with a white man, how is she coming up off of that global power? Because the average white man in this country doesn't even come up off it. He makes 50K. He's just a regular dude with a mustard stain on his t-shirt. So I'm just trying to figure out, how does a black woman actually come up off of this global power that the elite of white men have?
Okay. Okay. I don't know how black people do this, but I feel as if
Ask good questions.
Okay, I just feel like just from observation, I see. I don't think like I don't. It is like okay, like for instance, like with education, I don't think like with a black person, it doesn't matter how much education you have. I think that white people like they still. Okay, that's not a good example. Okay, let me not use that example. It's so hard to explain what I'm trying to say. Um. No comment. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat.
That's all right.
And
Try not to look at the chat that's scrolling. If I put it up there, I understand you're gonna look at it. But the chat room, as it's moving up and down, more people get in here is gonna start moving fast. It's best to not even pay attention to that. But go ahead.
Okay. So, like for instance, like I don't think there's any like security when it comes to black men as a whole. Like I'm from the hood, and I didn't see security. Like even the women who did have husbands and whatever, they didn't have too much security. And I like again, I'm not saying
what do you
that it's
mean
their
by
fault.
what do you mean by security?
We're just having money, being protected. Again, I'm not saying it's the black man's fault. I'm not saying everything is a
No,
black person.
it's not about the fault or not fault. It's about the accuracy or inaccuracy of the statement. Now, if you want to talk about the money thing, yeah, like I kind of pointed out, most Americans are broke, give or take how much money they make, give or take the area they live in. Yeah, money. Most Americans aren't making that much money. Like I pointed out, the average white man make 50K. In many places, most women would say that that's broke. So by the same standard that you would call a black man that makes 40K broke, because that's what the average black man make, by that same standard, you would still call a white man broke. I mean, you would still call a white man broke, or at least you should, because if a black man who make 40K all of a sudden got a $800 a month raise, you wouldn't all of a sudden say, "Ooh, I have security with him." So right there with that one, I don't see it there. And with the protection thing, so let's talk about that. How is it a lack of protection?
Well, me growing up, I'm from Dallas, Texas. I grew up in kind of the hood parts. I didn't see too much protection. I kind of just think that not all black men are kind of just, you say it, I guess, somewhat ignorant. Like I don't feel like it's in the black community. Like we don't have each other's back, and I feel like, how am I trying to say this?
Okay, so
I'm not saying like.
Are you saying that in other communities, or let's just say the white community, a white woman in danger, she got a problem, she's more quickly to be able to get somebody to come and deal with, let's just say, the guy that's causing her a problem, to come, I don't know, drag him out the house, stump him out?
Yes,
Are
yes.
you serious? Are you seriously saying that white men that any man hands out more street justice than black men?
Okay, let me repeat what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that a white man is going to, well, he's more likely to protect a black woman. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think, like for instance, any non-black woman, she's going to have more protection from her tribe as opposed from a black woman. I didn't see that growing up.
Okay. When I break, because I have done shows on the whole protection thing, and it comes at a few different levels. There's police, military, firefighters, whoever we can call in this country, this civilized country that we pay taxes to fund the government to supply all of those things. So that's one area. The other area of protection is just with the group, sort of like what you were talking about. And what I would argue and what I have argued is that black women got goons on speed dial. Black women typically can call somebody up. Typically can call somebody up to handle situations. That's why we just saw a situation just recently, and I hate to use an online viral situation where a little chick just walking up on a big 6'4" dude who work out every day, like and hit him. She swung at him a few times, connected, and she like, yeah, I hit you, and what you gonna do? You ain't gonna do that. It's like, they operate like that because they know, one, push come to shove, they got protection. They know they can call the police if he hit her, or they can call up. There's people they can call up. And there's plenty of black men dead or that ended up dead or in jail over defending a black woman. Like that happens all the time. There's no exact data on it to show, but I mean, you were going anecdotal based off what you saw, so I'm going to respond with anecdote. There are plenty of situations where men have rolled in to defend a black woman. A black man has rolled in to defend a black woman, and that situation ended up with one black man being dead and the other black man being in jail. That happens all the time. So when it comes to the street justice element of it, or somebody just in the group handling a situation, I think black men do that more. They do it to a fault, actually. So you got the police in the structure of the country that we pay taxes to help protect, and y'all got the whole street justice goons on speed dial thing. The only thing y'all lacking is just the interpersonal relationship aspect of protection. Being in a relationship with the man you're committed to, and you sleep in the bed with him every night, and you just feel safe. It's just a feeling of security that y'all are lacking. Because a lot of y'all are single, and I said single with a not single, single. Yeah. A lot of y'all are single, so y'all just don't feel safe.
I mean, I guess. Like I said, I disagree. I didn't grow up seeing that. Even with my with my one of my great grandmothers, yeah, she had a man in the house, but he wasn't a good person. So there's not, and I'm not saying all black men crooked and wicked and evil. I'm not saying that. We gotta talk about facts and what it is. Most black people do not have your back, and I'm not saying that if you are a black woman, if you try to go up to white men, that oh my God, they're gonna just like you and wife you up. I'm not saying that because I don't want, because it seems like you think that I'm like saying like I'm trying to put white men on a pedestal, and I'm not.
Well, no, I know some people probably look at it and hear it like that. I'm mostly just breaking down either what you said in the video versus what you're saying right now. I don't, rather you're putting them on a pedestal or not. My thing is I like to break down whether somebody's making sense or not making sense. That's the main thing. You did make a point that a woman could very well have a man that she's in a relationship with, and he could be a complete and total piece of shit. That is a factor in the equation. That's a factor in everybody's equation. And there's a lot of black people that don't know how to act. So she could very well have a man. That goes back to a point that I've always made. Chances are the person, when you talk about a lack of protection, the person you need protection from more times than not is the person whose dick you're sucking. And you could stop sucking his dick if he's beating your ass and treating you like shit. But typically across the board, even though there's something to be said about black people not having each other's back, but at the same time, just as much as there's videos of, because a lot of this comes from viral videos, to keep it real, just as much as there's videos of a black woman getting her head bust and nobody really reacted, there's just as many videos that don't go necessarily as viral where some dude did something to a black woman and then got stumped out by the whole hood. Like that happens all the time. Those videos are everywhere, and I've definitely seen that. We all know the infamous, famous situations where woman hit a man and then nobody reacts. The man finally reacts, and then, oh, that's a female, and everybody jump in and protect her even though she was the aggressor. Like, so that's why the whole protection thing, I'm not moved by that when they talk about a lack of protection. I mean, we just saw a recent situation where a woman was the aggressor and the man showed an extreme amount of restraint and then still got called a bitch by black men and black women for not retaliating. But had he retaliated, he would have got called an even bigger bitch for hitting a woman. So it's a situation where it is some one way aggression, but the point that I will give you is that that when the woman ends up in the situation in a relationship with that abusive dude, then she got legitimate problems because if she don't got protection in her own house, because she need protection from the person who she keeps having sex with, and that doesn't make sense either, because in this modernized, civilized, westernized, post-second wave of feminism society, she's free to go. It's not like it's 1950 where she have to stay there. She can get up and
Okay,
leave.
so that's what I was talking about. I was talking about those times back in the day. That's why I said my great grandmother. They weren't brought up. Nobody went to school. You were just brought up, as a child to grow up and depend on a man all your life. That's how they grew up. So
Yeah.
back in the day, you didn't, you got married and lived your life. So I think that programming, from what I've seen from my great grandmother and great aunts and the people who lived around her, they lived a miserable life. And I think I'm not putting all the blame on the black men, because I think some of it is a symptom of white people. But I think that, like, most black men, like, they just don't care. Like, they're not. It's hard to, like, reach out or ask for help from a black man. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. Dudes will show up all guns blazing. So I don't know. I'll move on that one. But when you talked about the 50s, now that is an interesting discussion, because women were brought up then, they get married off sometime between 16 and 18, and who they marry is who they marry. They didn't have that many options, so they really just had to stick with that man. So the upside to that is family stayed together and children had two parents in the household. The downside to that is there was a percentage, hashtag not all, but there was a percentage of women who ended up hitched and attached to the wrong type of guy in that situation, even though he was providing, even though they was together, even though they was committed, even though that was part of the problem was ended up being that there was a percentage of women who probably ended up in situations where they basically had to stay with a dude who may or not, you caught her, backslapped her here and there. But there's no solutions. There's only trade-offs. I'm not saying a woman in modern times should stay with a man who's backslapping her, but if there's more family and there's more people together, there's going to percentage-wise be more domestic violence. Just if there's more domestic situations. But I think it falls within a certain percentage of it that's going to happen, and domestic violence and all of that stuff across the board is down nowadays in modern times. So but that is a factor in the equation. Now, I do think that y'all try to exaggerate it and color purple it and make it seem like all black women was Celie and all black men was Mystery. I do try to do that, but I will concede that yes, if you got a 90% marital rate, by default is going to be some marriages where some domestic violence is going to happen. Is that a good trade-off for a community where men and women are actually together and raising kids together? Is that a good trade-off is the question right there. Hold on, I'll let you answer that one in a second. E. Capone in the building with the super chat. He says TV and those glamour magazines got a lot of sisters upside down. Who else we got up in here? Almost missed this one. It was right at the top. Nolan Baptiste in the building. He says, I have a question for this woman. What's her opinion about white women being submissive to black men? And I'm going to let you answer that one while I go play with my camera real quick.
Okay. So Nolan Baptiste. So I don't think from my opinion, and because I am a woman and I know how women think, I don't think a white woman can be submissive to a black man. I think when I see and I hear black white women being with black men, I think it's a fetish. I think you do have some couples out there, some white women who do have good intentions and who do um really want to be with the black man, for whatever reason. But I think majority of them, they get with black men because it is a fetish, and because the white community, because the white men, they don't want them. They're basically like garbage to them. So I don't think most white women who get with black men, it's like I think it comes off like that, but I think it's because they've lost with their race, so they know they can go over there to a black man and get in his face and get wiped up. But it's all a fetish.
So you're just going to chalk that up to a fetish. But when it comes to white men getting with black women, you was talking about, oh, well, what they can do for us and how they can open doors and the global power of this or that or that. But you don't think it's some fetishizing shit going on with black
I
women?
do. I
Okay,
do.
okay, all right.
I've
But see,
actually
but
had
why?
experience with
Okay,
it.
but okay, but hold on. But why? Okay, you did a whole video. You didn't mention fetish when it came to white black women and white men. But as soon as somebody asks a question about black men and white women, you immediately say fetish, fetish, fetish. How come it just can't be that a white woman born in America, a multiracial, multicultural society, and she's just like, hey, I'm just going to get with the best man I can get, and it happened to be a black man. Like sometimes that is the case. Sometimes it is a fetish. There's a lot of fetishes. I got some fetishes that involve black women. I mean, I got all kinds of. Everybody got their fetishes, but so to take it on and just say fetish, that's the first answer. Even when people are getting married and having families and whatnot, to just go fetish. We're gonna make a family out of a fetish. Like, come on.
Again, I said because they can't get with their own tribe. I think you're missing. I think everybody's missing the point. I'm not putting white men on a pedestal. I'm not saying
I
that
didn't
black
say
women.
I never said that you did that. I'm just taking what you said, how you said it, and just breaking down. I'm analyzing the words that's coming out of your mouth. I'm trying not to apply anything else to it. I'm just analyzing the words that are coming out of your mouth. And so when you leap right to fetish and discount any other thing, as if like going back to what I said, the average white guy is an average white guy. The average black man is an average black man. There are some women of other races who just happen to be attracted to black men. And if that black man can do, all the other A, B, and C that a man's supposed to do, she's like, hey, I will be with him and be happy with him. Then over there, it is a fetishy thing that I know about. I'm not gonna go into details with that, but I know the fetish game. I know that and I get that, but it's telling. It's very telling that you leap to fetish when you first asked about that one, but then when you go to black women and white men, the fetish. You made a video about it and you've been talking for about 20 minutes about it. Fetish didn't come up and it wasn't going to come up. So that's telling of how you view it. It's like you gave good reasons why black women get with white men and act like they got some sense, but when black men get with white women, when black men get with white women, you instantly went to she's bottom of the barrel. White men threw her away, don't want her. And there are some situations like that. But in my observation, the black man who's messing with bottom shelf Becky, you know who he was also messing with before he got the white girl? Bottom shelf Keisha. He didn't go from Gabrielle Union to Rosie O'Donnell. He went from Gabrielle Sidibe to Rosie O'Donnell. So that argument just doesn't work. Jonathan Barronville in the building says, does this chick know how many black men does this chick know how many black men have to squat and cough for protecting black women? I guess reality doesn't fit her narrative. Carry on. Shout out to Jonathan Barronville for the super chat.
$50. So that makes you rich?
It's a start. Damn.
Shout out to Jonathan Barreville. Appreciate it. Where we at? I saw some more in here. I'm going to get to some more before we go back into that. Damn it! I saw Charles Merchant. Yours disappeared, Charles Merchant. I try to dig it up. Good man in the building. He says, "What is her opinion on the fact that black women are the number one viewers of interracial couples, white men, black men, on YouTube at nearly over 83%? Is that a fetish for them, especially with white men?" Drop some links to that. I didn't know that. I kind of saw it anecdotally or just looking at it. It seems like that's the case, but I didn't know that was the case. If you got a link to prove that 83%, I would definitely like you to drop that in the chat. I do want to take a look at that, but what is your thoughts on that?
Let me read it one more time. I don't agree with that. I don't think with the
hold on. You can't. Well, okay. All right. If he just would have said he thinks 83% or he feels like 83%, then you could say, I disagree. But I think that's why I asked him to drop a link. I think he's citing data. And when it comes to that kind of data, that's not self-reported data. That's analytics. That, that's the type of data you can't argue your way out of. If they say 70% of black men, based off the YouTube algorithm and analytics, like to watch videos of Japanese girls twerking, it's kind of hard to argue if it came out of the analytics, you see. So, but that's why I do want him to prove the analytics. I do want you to prove that. I mean, I do want. I want him to prove that. I want him to drop the links to that. And hold on, real quick. I just saw something back from the dead. Shout out to Obsidian. Where you been, man? Where you been? If you didn't drop that image in the community tab of your book being #1 seller in the category on Amazon, I forgot what the category was, but congratulations. I don't got an applause drop sound, but congratulations. Shout out to you for that. And you've been missing in action. You've been great, definitely missing in action. There people been asking me where's Obsidian? Like, I don't know. He's been missing in action. But definitely shout out to Obsidian. We'll be looking for you, I guess, on Monday. I suppose on Monday. Hopefully you will be going live. I'm trying to get to Charles Merchant, who said something, but I mean, you can give your thoughts on what he said right there, even though I'm waiting on him to drop the link so we can actually confirm whether or not that's actually the case, because that's interesting. Very interesting if it is. Charles Merchant says witches want their dog whistles to work immediately, especially when she's the aggressor. She wants to point and have that subject destroyed. See cancel culture. Shout out to Charles Merchant in the building. Appreciate your super chat. All right. There was a few more here. I mean, I guess you could respond to that, tell us your thoughts on that, but is what it is if that's a stat they pulled out of the analytics of YouTube.
Okay, so but I want to go back to what you said. Like when you were talking about the fetish, I don't think black women have a fetish for white men. The black women that I've been around, we've never talked about, I guess, exploring with white men. So I want to make that clear. And the purpose, the point that I'm trying to make in my video that you watch is talking about being feminine. It's not talking about.
Wait, hold on. You see how that's a problem when you just say, well, in my experience, black women, we don't got a fetish for white men. You could just say it that quick and matter of factly. Well, but how do you also so quickly and matter of factly say that white women getting with black men? Oh, it's just a fetish. It's like you can't pick and choose when to just be that as a matter of factly when it comes to another group of people. I mean, you technically don't know.
Like that's why I said most of them. I think most of them are doing it. Because why would you?
How do you?
I don't know that. Mm-hmm.
Why would you what?
Because I don't see, like, even like with this is how I see it. Most white people, I don't think they have good intentions by black people. So when I see a white woman with a black man,
But
I'm
you
not
talked
saying all
about, hold on, but you talked about how white men apparently got good intentions with black women.
no, I didn't. I'm saying that it's more. I'm able to be more relaxed and more feminine with the white men. With not all white men, some of them, not all of them, because of the way we've been programmed. And I didn't say it was right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I think it's a programming thing. I think we all do it. I think to a certain extent we kind of men as well. I mean, you've worked in, I think you've worked for someone before. Um, and I think all black people have been programmed to this, I guess, what do you want to call it? American culture or society, to where we have to act like we can't be ourselves as black people. Does that make
Not,
sense? Okay, it
I
doesn't make sense.
understand where you're trying to go with that. In one, that doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to
Okay.
me. It definitely don't apply to me. There are some black people that probably operate like that, in public or at work. You're gonna speak proper English, but as being professional at work, you're gonna do what's customary. So I mean, I think you're taking things like that, and then you're trying to de facto take it back to slavery with, oh, well, we've been programmed and we've been conditioned. But when I break down the things that you say, it didn't sound like programming and conditioning. It sounded like you were making an argument that there were actual, tangible benefits that had something to do with global power. And that's where I circle it back to an interpersonal relationship with a white guy, an average white guy making 50K. How the hell does that global power affect the black woman in there with average Joe Schmo white guy? He ain't even benefiting from that. One thing that I always point out, they had the Occupy Wall Street movement, the 99% movement, where the average day-to-day white guy or white person was, upset or frustrated that they weren't getting a piece of the American pie. And it was sort of set up to where they wouldn't. So you're talking about a class thing when you talk about the power of white men, but you're taking the class and how the elite can move, and you're extrapolating that down to all white men, even though we understand that all the wealth in this country is held, 50% of the wealth in this country is held by the top 10 percenters. I mean, I'm sorry, the top 50%. I'm sorry, let me get it right. 50% of the wealth is held by the top 1%. And upwards of 90% of the wealth is held by the top 10% in this country. Once you get below that, you're just talking about regular average people with day-to-day jobs. So it's one thing to say, oh, well, we're conditioned to view white people a certain way. Then it's another thing to say that, oh, well, these are the tangible benefits. But when you break down the numbers of the tangible benefits of just getting with a regular white dude, it's really nothing, which leads me to the conclusion that really all you're talking about is just a superficial status symbol of whiteness, because you must view whiteness as something up here. And so that's probably why you're confused about how a white woman could see a black man and actually see him as valuable. Oh, it just must be some fetish, because there's no way she could see him as valuable, because I don't see somebody black as valuable.
No, but I didn't say that. I didn't say I didn't see black men. Again, you're trying to point me out to be some type of coon or hate black people. I don't hate black people. I'm not. I think you're missing the point. What I'm trying to say is more easier to be feminine with a white man. Most of them, not all of them. Most, because you don't feel judged. In the black community, there's no one that you can
You
really.
just said white people don't have good intentions with black people, but now you're saying you don't feel judged around them. How does this make any sense? And keep in mind,
Yes,
I'm not.
you are right. You are right.
I'm
Yes,
not.
most of them don't have, but I'm saying some white men. I'm talking. Okay, I'm talking about white men and black women. I'm saying that I think it's a little bit more easier. You are right. You are right. They
Okay,
don't have good intentions, but I'm just saying as talking wise, as opening up, getting advice, it's a little bit more easier from my experience.
all right. I'm gonna go to some super chats. Okay, Ron Rahim. He said, "No one fetishizes black men more than black women. The reason why so many kids are produced by such a small group of men is because they fetishize Pookie's and Ray Ray's. Shout out to you, Ron Raheen. Appreciate the super chat. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother topic, which you just laid out there. Damn it, y'all coming through on the super chat in, and I appreciate it. I'm trying not to miss any of them today. Chief Rock in the building says, peace, just tuned in, seeing the title in your thumbnail. What is her opinion on the Gary Owens situation? I don't even know that much about the Gary Owens situation. Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know. I don't know that.
All right. She don't know. Michael Ross in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Leo Anthony in the building with the $20 super chat. Shout out to you for the $20. Where's it at?
I want 150,000. So we can settle out of court right now for $20. Man, get your
Right on. Shout out to Leo Anthony. Says black women have a preconceived notion that all white women are upper class, and if they get, that all white men are upper class, and that if they get with one, they'll be upper class even if that white dude works at Walmart. They require much less from a white man, but want black men to be Superman for them. That's more or less the point that I was making, because when I listen to a lot of the arguments that you've made, that you laid out, it's almost like you pivot. It's almost like you're pivoting away from some of the things that you said in the video that sort of prompted this conversation. Is that it's you're clearly talking about how white men are perceived and not what they're actually doing. I mean, you're going as far as saying, oh, whatever. They listen, they're better listeners, and I just feel sort of I mean, that's whatever to me. But I do want to look at this, what he's saying right there. Black women have a preconceived notion that all white men are upper class. It does seem as if that's what's going on in the head of black women, to where they feel like it's a come up.
No, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like white people are better than black people. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know why your audience is not understanding that. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about being feminine with them. I'm talking about just opening up. I don't think that they're better than anybody.
Okay, so explain why you feel it's easier, I guess, why you think black women have an easier time being more feminine with somebody that you think is some manipulative, controlling oppressor with bad intentions. Because if you talk about a black man with bad, if you talk about a black man with bad intentions, like for example, the situation you talked about earlier, said some black women, they get with a black man and it's not all that good. He could very well be abusive, or something could be wrong. You talked about all of that, and I'm sure you cite those as reasons why black women wouldn't be able, using the air quotes, be able to be feminine with a black man. But the white people, as you describe it, I mean, I have a different view on it than you actually, but black people, as you describe, white people, as you describe them, are doing all these horrible things. But within the midst of it, okay, but you able to just let your hair down, put your feet up, and be so feminine with them. Like, so try to make that make sense. Because put it like this: if somebody is bad for me or bad to me, I'm not going to conduct myself better for them. So it's like you talk out of both sides of your mouth. On one hand, is Whitey is the oppressor, and the other hand, oh, but I can be so feminine and really be me around him. But
I'm talking about the ones that have good intent, that are not trying to do wrong by me. That's what I'm talking. I'm not just saying, ooh, all black men, they just want to open up to all white men. That's not what I'm saying.
So it sounds like you're individually judging individual white men by the content of their individual character. Now, if you do that, then why would you even make a video saying why black women are more feminine with white men? It should be why women are more feminine with men who display certain character traits. Because if you're talking about character traits, you're not talking about race and global power and how it benefits you. You're just talking about the individual character of the individual man that you're with.
But you got to include race too. You have to include that. Let me ask you something, and I want your audience to comment. In a strip club, if a white man walks into a strip club, if a white and black man walks into a strip club, where do you think that who are the strippers going to approach?
If they have an ideology similar to yours, they're going to assume the white man has money and global power, and they're probably going to approach him and twerk for him until they see what they can and can't get out of him, and they find out that no, he's just sitting there holding $2 too, and then they're gonna move on.
Okay, you're making my point. They have been programmed. I think most black women have been programmed.
But
like
no, but
that.
see, no. But hold on. In your video, you weren't talking about programming. You were talking about actual, factual, tangible benefits. And then when I try to break down those actual tangible benefits, and we look at the numbers and we see, okay, the average white man make 50K, average black man make 40K. That amounts to basically an extra $800 a month. What are you really benefiting and coming up? And you on that, and you can't really say anything. And now you try to circle it back to programming, but your video wasn't about programming. Your video was about actual tangible benefits.
Well, I guess I have a hard time explaining myself, but I know exactly what I was trying to say. And I'm talking about being feminine and how society has programmed most black people how to be feminine with white men. Is it right? No, but that's the fact. That's a fact.
All right. Rod of God podcast in the building says, BR, I've actually lost IQ points at this. Sorry, man. Sorry. Everyday Valet in the building says she should have had her argument together because it sounds like she's contradicting herself. I think that's part of the factor in the equation, because the arguments, whenever any swirler makes the argument, it really does not break. It does not make sense, and it amounts to them.
But you said what a swirler?
Well, okay, a swirl. Yes, you know what a swirler is, right?
Are you calling me a swirler? Ooh.
I really don't care if you are or are not. I mean, I challenge ideas and break down arguments. They either make sense or they don't. What you personally do with your vagina, I seriously don't care. So, but when someone makes, I'll say, swirler arguments, and somebody, that video that we are referencing, somebody did drop Crystal and Karazin's name in the chat. So clearly, I mean, I think you know about that community, bare minimum. I think you do know about the swirling community. Don't look around trying to think. You know if you know.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't get in tune with that.
You don't get into that. Y'all speak the same language.
No, we don't speak the same language. I've never been with a white guy. I've had conversations with him, but I've never dated a white guy. I actually prefer black men.
Okay. As interesting, somebody who's never been with a white guy, but you in the video, you had said something about they are better listeners. They will listen to us and they won't play the blame game, and they'll just listen. Like I did. Then I didn't want to get into your personal, because I really don't do that. But I do got to ask right now at this point, if you've never been with one, then where did you source that information from?
Just having conversation. In my last apartment complex, I was talking to, we were both runners and we ran into each other and we was just talking or whatever and talking about little personal stuff. And I feel like it's more, I guess, easier to talk, I guess, with that particular white guy. And I'm not saying all white men, all people don't have good intentions, but I feel like it's a little bit more easier. I've never really had, I guess I really never had to, I guess, a good conversation or a good listener with black men.
So you never had a black man who was interested in you in some way, shape, or form, and you weren't all.
Yeah, but I'm saying they come off as black people. Most black people come off as judgmental. I'm not saying all black men. I'm just saying most of them, and it's a fact.
But far as the listening, and keep in mind, this is one I don't care about, but it's just a contradiction, just staring in the face. I tend to believe that you've had a black man at some point who was your sympathetic listening ear, who sat on the phone with you and listened to your problems. He probably liked you, probably wanted to get at you. You probably wasn't that high on him, but he was a good listener.
I'm not. I'm just saying
He
in
heard
general.
out all
Even
your
with
he heard out.
family,
Hold on. He sat there and heard out all your BS. He probably you've had a black man that you've talked to on the phone who sat there and listened to your problems with the guy that you was actually messing with. You've had
I'm
that
not.
happen.
That's not what I'm saying. The white guy that I was having a conversation, we were talking about different things. We talking about careers. We were talking about we were both interested in running. I'm a runner, so we're not talking about.
Right.
I guess what you're. I don't know what you're talking about. But
Either way it goes, it's the okay. Let me just back up again and say I don't care that much. It's just when I hear something that just don't add up when you're saying that. Oh, a white man would just listen, and I'm like, okay, you've had a black dude sit there and like that. Women always have men who just sit there and listen to them. Like that's sort of what men do. Unfortunately. Okay. All right.
Not with a black.
All right. No, black men don't listen to you. Okay. You're not being heard.
Well, I feel like black people, they look like they can have a conversation with you, but they'll look past you, like look over your shoulder and become very judgmental. I guess it's more of what I'm saying.
That conditioning in that programming, that conditioning in that programming that you said that black people have towards white people, do you would you say that definitely applies to you or no?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I mean that's honest right there. When you say white people are not very judgmental, you don't think that they judge when I don't know, they see, let's just say a black woman at Walmart at 5:30 p.m. with pajama pants on and a scarf, pajama pants, flip flops, scarf on her head, pushing 2 buggies filled to the rim with food. You don't think they judge when they see stuff like that? You don't think they judge when they see a black man walking around do-rag pants hanging off his ass? You don't think they judge? Like, where do you gather that white people are not judgmental? They move, they white flight to other places and put up gated communities because they're judging people that they don't want to live around. White people and black people. They like, I don't know how you gather the white people are not judgmental. So I mean, it does sound like what you're saying about the programming. It does sound like what you're saying about white people being good listeners. Or I mean, no, I'm sorry. What you said about white people, more or less conditioning. No, I'm talking about the conditioning and programming of black people. How we are conditioned and we're programmed to think this or think that. I mean, I'm hearing it in what you're saying because it's just like pass after pass or overlook this or overlook that, and it's almost like it sounds as if you only see white people as I don't know, it's almost like a can't do no wrong interpersonally, but on the large scale, they're the boogeyman. It's a weird thing that people have going on when they praise white people and criticize them at the same time. It's just a contradiction.
I'm not. Well, that's how you're taking it, and that's how your audience is taking it. I'm not putting white people on a pedestal. That's not what I'm doing. A CK fan, I don't know.
That's Crystal.
No,
that's Crystal and Carrison. Okay, yesterday on Jessica X, the white man making $1,000 a month said he can't keep black women away from him. Yeah, I don't know about that show. That episode of Jessica X's show. I watched 5 minutes of it, and I just made a quick U-turn up out of there. I was
in white people. People are people. I'm not putting a certain group of people on a pedestal because it seems like you're saying that I'm putting white men. I'm not putting them on a pedestal. I don't know why I have to keep saying that, but I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. I'm telling you from observation on how black women are just more feminine, and it's more easier, I guess, to talk. When of course you have white men who don't give a damn about black women. Of course you do.
I mean, once you once you say that you never mess with a white dude, but you're talking about black women being more feminine with white men, it's like I don't even know what to do with that situation. Like you can't even say for sure that it's an actual thing. So it's almost like you're just responding to perceived talking points based off your, I don't know, I guess your perception of white people. It's like where you even gathering your information from? If you've never been with a white
Off of
dude.
observation and conversation. I don't believe in statistics. So
Wow.
I don't,
You say that. What did you say? You don't
I
believe
don't
in what?
believe in like statistics and stuff and all that stuff you read on the internet articles. I look at observation.
In your from your narrow vantage point, you just look at observation. Like if you
In
like
the conversations that
your
I have with people.
your observation could be very small and limited. It's like it could very well be like somebody just sticking a bucket into the ocean and whatever they pull out and they say that's what's in the ocean. Like your vantage point is very limited. So anybody who say they don't look at statistics, it's yeah, that's just there's no other way to say it, no other way to look at it, but you're basically admitted that hey, I just talk out of my ass, really, because how could you say that you
They
do?
fumble with that. They fumble with you. How do you? I mean, you can't believe everything you read online. I prefer your best learning tool is life, like just having conversation with people and getting to know a person, than reading something off of the internet because that can be fumbled with.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, there's a scientific method. There's peer reviewed research. There's correction there's correcting mechanisms in place to make sure the data and stats are right. They can be skewed, they can be misrepresented. You do have to sometimes read the article and the methods of how they came up with the data that they came up with, but at the end of the day is you data and stats matter more than somebody's personal observation about how black women conduct themselves in relationships with white men, especially if this black woman have allegedly never been with a white man. That's like right there, that's not making
So I don't
sense.
think
I'm
you have to
sorry.
be intimate with a white man. I'm just saying
Sorry.
having conversation. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but a non-consequential conversation with a white man, it's almost like you're basically saying that okay, I talked to a white man who happened to like to run and I like to run, so I had a 5-minute conversation with a white man about running. It was so peaceful, like and then you're going to take that and extrapolate it to why black women are more feminine with white men. That's just weird
Well, I'm
at
not just
best.
saying
But
that
hold on,
wasn't a 5 minute
let
conversation.
me either way, I think you get my point. Either way.
No,
Doug.
I don't get your point because I'm
Okay,
not
well
talking.
hold your thought either way. Hold your thought either way. Doug in the building said they are more feminine due to their subconscious fetish of oppression. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. He says black men don't listen to her because she is full of it. C5B9 Mac. Sorry, I don't understand, but I don't speak BFF. Shout out to okay, feelings. Shout out to Theo Wolf in the building. Said feelings are not reality. You can't make this crap up. Someone will die alone. Doom, 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 doom. Let's see. Everyday valet with due respect. This is why I don't debate or argue with women. Yeah, let's okay, so backing up, because I do like when a discussion is had and some points are conceded. It did sound like you to some degree conceded the point on the power thing when you talk about how black women are more feminine or submissive to white men because they have power, and then I talked about how that plays out in a capitalist country where the average person, 90% of the people in the country is fighting over 10% of the wealth of the country, and that includes the majority of white people who work for somebody else, who go to work at a cubicle scrapping and scraping just to get by, and that's by and large the white man that you're going to end up with, who has a job working for somebody else and a vote. So you do understand that the power element of it, a black woman isn't benefiting or coming up on that just from getting with a white man. Let's just see if you can concede that point, and then, because we're going to talk about just the subconscious brainwashing that has been done. Okay, that's subjective, and it's hard to it's hard to empirically measure that. But let's just look at something, when it comes to power, when a black woman gets with a white man. I think you conceded the point that no, she's really not coming up that much. She's just getting a regular dude with a job in a capitalist country. Did you concede that point?
Yes, I do agree.
Okay, good. So that's the see. Look at that. That's some growth in the conversation. She came in her video that prompted this. One of the main things she said was the power, and then she conceded that point. Okay, so I can give you a point for that one. I can give you a point for that one. One thing that you said, and this is kind of related to it, but it's probably belaboring the point. One thing you said that black people can't enforce rules, but the previous point that I made kind of shoots that one down as well, when you talked about how black people can't enforce rules in society. Do you think you still think that one is a factor in the equation?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I just think because of history and how we've been stripped from our culture, I don't think that as black people we can really do anything.
All right, wait, hold on one second. Hold up. I'm gonna quit playing and get a different camera for y'all pretty soon. I'm gonna quit playing. Quit being lazy. Going and get that. But here we go. Shout out to who do we have in here? Speaking your mind. Does she look at black men the same way as white men? I think she kind of answered that when she already copped to the conditioning. So I don't think that. I think it is what it is on that. Meaning, would she consider a black man who runs or bikes as acting white, or just a runner or biker? That's an interesting question. You didn't answer.
No. No. I mean, when I see black guys running and biking, I don't think that I don't think that they're better, or it's just something they like to do. I mean, I don't know the person.
Wom3n in the building says white men don't lie, according to her. Now, I don't think she said that, but it was a splash of double talk going on. Jonathan Barronville in the building says LMAO. She's so lost. White men are the most ruthless when it comes to their standards, expectations, and judgment of women. He says, where does she think European beauty standards come from? Good point, JB. Good point. If anything, black men should be significantly more judgmental. Yeah, that is a good point. Black men are the least judgmental. Black men will deal with overweight women of all races. White men are very judgmental. Those European beauty standards that y'all complain about, who do you think creates and or upholds those European beauty standards? If we're going to talk about white men as some overarching pulling the strings behind the curtains type of deal, they got the European beauty standards that makes that forces black women to be fat on paper. Who do you think is behind all of that? That takes a lot of judgment. People get on Kevin Samuels about the height, weight, dress size, and then you turn around and respond to that by saying, oh, well, you're talking about European beauty standards. You see how you can't then turn around and say that they're not judgmental if there's a whole standard based off their judging of women.
Yes, I do think that you do have wicked white people, and that they are judgmental. People are judgmental. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Don't tell me to continue. I can go when I want
I'm
to
sorry.
go. Yeah. Fall back. Let's see. I'm trying to find super chats. People was super chatting questions. People were super chatting questions. I did want to get to your response to the one thing. Golden Eagle 99. So it's safe to say that an American black woman's femininity is conditional or not conditional. He's saying, is it safe to say that that an American black woman's femininity is conditional or not natural and not natural? He got a good question on the table there. I don't know if you understand what he's saying, but if you're saying that a woman is feminine based off the situation that she's in, that means she's not naturally feminine. Like, I can't be put in a situation and all of a sudden I'm going to start switching my hips just because of the situation that I'm in. I'm going to be the same masculine man that I am no matter what. But he's saying that based off what you're saying, the femininity is apparently conditional, seemingly based off the skin color of the man you're in the presence of. But go ahead. You can respond to that one if you want to.
Oh yeah, I think some women are like that. Yeah, but I'm not like that. I'm always feminine around anyone. I'm myself.
Guest, what do you think about Kevin Samuels?
Oh wow. I think he's pretty honest. About some things. I think with the high value, like how he his definition of a high value man, I think it's a little bit off. Because I think there's a difference between a high earner and a high value male.
He said
Just
that.
because
He said that too. He said that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't hear that. Okay,
Yeah.
well, most of the stuff he says is very accurate. I do think like black women, they do need to be judged, because those women who call on the show, they kind of come off as like they think that they, I guess, just deserve any man they want, and he's like basically just trying to tell them, hey, you have to be realistic. Like,
Okay, I want to make sure we got this right. You're saying black women need to be judged. On the other hand, you said black men are too judgmental. White men are less judgmental. Kevin Samuels is judging them by the white man's beauty standard. Do you see how you just tried to force all kind of square pegs into round holes right there?
Well, yeah, Kevin Samuels is talking about physical. I'm talking about more of as a person. Like, he's judging them like, okay, you have women who are calling in thinking that they're deserving of more. And I think it's okay for Kevin Samuels to judge them and be honest and tell them, hey, okay, that's not going to work for you. You're trying to say that you're trying to say that I said that white men are not that judgmental and black men are more judged. Well, wait, okay, let me repeat what you said because I'm confusing myself.
Yeah, you're a bit confused. No, it's cool. It's cool. Snuggle668 in the building says, open the panel, Bernard. You are running out of your own questions, but other people get ahead. Don't Snuggles, you're gonna get put on punishment, Snuggles. Tell me I'm running out of my own questions. But shout out to Snuggles. People taking your $5 super chat crown too, by the way.
Hi, I'm Snuggle. Snuggly softness. That's really less expensive.
Shout out to Snuggles, the mascot around here. Shout out to Snuggles. All right. Oh man. I'll try one more time. I'll try one more time with this one. You started off saying white men are less judgmental, which means black men are more judgmental. Black women who call into Kevin Samuels' show, you said that they need to be judged.
Yes, those women. Yeah, because they're coming at him wrong. Those women. I'm saying I don't think a black man. I'm saying from my experience.
All right, well, hold on. See, now here's another problem. When you get on the ropes, you try to get laser accurate. You try to get very precise. And no, I'm talking about this group here, this small these women right here. this small group of black women right here, this right there. But the video that prompted this conversation is a video where you talked about why black women are more feminine with white men, and you just said white men in general, no specificity, even though the white men you described were basically top 3% white men, but you just called it white men. But when talking about other groups of people, or specifically black women, you want to say, no, I'm talking about these 5 black women over there. These 5, you're breaking it down. You try to break it down in different parts, you see. But with white men, you just call it one big collective white men, one big Wom3n white man. So
maybe it comes off that way, but no, I don't think that the average white man has good intentions by black people. Some of them, I think some of it's just more easier to speak, I guess, talk with and connect with. Even like, let me give you an example. Even like, because growing up, I went to white schools and then predominantly black schools. There's a very big difference. I feel like going to a predominantly white school, you're going to have more help from the white teachers than the black teachers. I just had a ton of bad experiences. So I think, for instance, yeah, so that's an example. I just think
that's an example of what? That's an example of what?
Of just I guess a way of like how some white people, not all, they're just more able to connect with you and help you, opposed from a black person. We don't want to help each other get ahead.
All right. I wasn't gonna do a link in the chat today. I wasn't gonna do that. I'm still leaning towards not doing it. I mean, we had the conversation about what we came on to have the conversation about. She conceded a lot of the major points that she made, and now it's all over the place. And I don't really care for a panel. I really don't. I think I might wrap this up. Laro gave his vote. He said, "Don't, please." He said, "Let us live, Bernard. Let us live." Shout out to Leo Anthony. I'm trying to. We might have to do a vote for a panel. Rod of God podcast made a good suggestion. Says limit it to women. That's an interesting proposition that I don't know. But I don't really care. Okay, I might limit it to women. We'll see. I'm put it out there, but I might wrap this up real soon, or let's do a vote. How about that? 1 if you want, 1 for a panel, 2 for no panel. Sir Tice saying panu. Lynn's journey through life. MLK, one day live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of their characters. Men differences are not based on color alone, by their character. Absolutely. I'm looking. It's close, but it looked like the ones are winning. It looked like the ones are winning. He says panel, but let Edward loose on her. I put the link in the chat. I still may not do it. I still may not do it. I'll see who comes up. Good man in the building. He says this is gonna be a bad look. She said what she said. No that's where I'm at. Good man, I'm glad you said that. Like, she said what she said. And there was enough contradictions to where it is what it is and the conversation is over. So a panel would just turn into a bunch of dudes just coming up, just trying to get their shit off on her, and the shit been, yeah. So I agree. I'm leading towards that one. I'm leaning very closely towards that one. I'm leaning very closely towards no panel. But thank y'all. We've been on the air for a little over an hour already. 400 people in here. A lot of people came through hard and heavy on the super chats. I appreciate that. I don't even know where we at on the likes, but I do appreciate everybody coming through. I normally don't do Saturdays. D-Rock Dan just dropped his regular traditional $5 Cash App. One thing I do want to say, tomorrow we will have on speaking about Black people looking out for each other, helping each other out, we'll have on the creator of a Black comic book author or creator. He created a comic book with a Black male protagonist. He says a James Bond type figure that he created a comic book with that character, and me and Ike going to be talking to him tomorrow, so we will be doing that tomorrow. So I do want y'all to tune in for that one. I do definitely want y'all to tune in for that one. Mr. Negative Man says we took a vote, Riley. No, man, I might veto the vote. It may be one of the one times I veto a vote. This might be one of the one times I veto a vote. I will hold out. If anybody got some questions, you got a good question, type it right now. We'll close out with that one. We'll close out with questions like that. We'll do it like that. Roddick God Podcast says, can't wait till tomorrow episode. No, that's definitely going to be a good episode. I can't wait for that one tomorrow. Yeah, I got a little small splash of effery today, but we're going to be on some on some good stuff tomorrow. We're going to be on some good stuff tomorrow. Queen Q says she came late. Just rewind it and listen. Imperator says, let the women continue to share their views and show who they truly are. Stop trying to convince these women they are what they are. Accept it. Yeah, see, my personal thing, it was not trying to convince her not to be her. Like, listen, if she was with a white dude, I can care less. Like I said, I don't care what she does with her vagina. I attack ideas and not people. And whenever a Black woman makes that argument about power, and that's the reason why that Black women conduct themselves in a feminine way when it comes to white men, then it's a matter of, okay, let's break down how that looks. The average white man that the average Black woman is going to get with is just a regular white man with a regular job who has no power other than just he has a vote. He can vote and he can go to work in the cubicle and work for somebody else. That's the extent of the power that he has in a capitalist country. So it's not gaining anything. It's not a come up like that. And I think what it is that, sort of going back to something that you said, is that perhaps, even though I don't buy it, perhaps we've been brainwashed and conditioned to think that, hey, white people are better. And so they are choosing whiteness or they are elevating whiteness because they find some value in whiteness. And so after finding some value in whiteness, then they try to circle back. And make reasons for it. But as we saw listening to this show, a lot of those reasons fell apart, and it just came down to just the programming or engineered elevation of white people. Bernard, Computer Geek says, Bernard, ask her to explain. Okay, get out of here. Get out of here with that one. Get out of here with that one. All right. Good men in the building. Let's ask her the Edward question. Does she believe that the Black community is a gynocracy? You can answer that one if you wish to.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And not about to further explain that. But all right, yeah, we about to wrap this up. I got things to do. My son has an open house later on today, so I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get on to that open house. But I do want to thank everybody for coming on in here. Did I even? I think I put the link in there. I don't think nobody took it, but I'm about to get up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on in today. I'd like to thank everybody who Cash App, super chatted, like, shared, subscribed, or did anything to support the stream in any way, shape, or form. I appreciate each and every one of you. And with that said, good people, we are out of here. Peace.